I ran through the woods, blood on my hands, heart pounding. Emily didn't, and 20 years later the lantern came back, swinging, warm, and waiting for me. I was 12 years old the night Emily Hart disappeared, and even now, 20 years later, I can still hear the way the woods went quiet at exactly 9:14 p.m. People say memories fade, mine didn't, not this one. My name is Claire Dalton, and I grew up in Ashford, a small town tucked between endless cornfields and a forest mothers warned their kids about but never explained why. It was a town where everyone knew everyone, and secrets rotted under the surface like apples left too long in the barn. Emily was my best friend, my only friend, really, and the last person who saw her alive was me. I escaped that night, she didn't, and I spent 20 years trying not to remember. But when the police called me last month, we think we found her, I had no choice but to come home. The return Ashford hadn't changed, same cracked sidewalks, same flickering diner sign, same smell of pine and burned rubber from the tire plant. The only thing different was me. I wasn't the scared kid anymore. Not the girl who lied to police, not the girl who ran away at 18 and promised herself never to return, but stepping out of my rental car in front of my childhood home made all that confidence collapse like wet paper. The house looked smaller, like grief had shrunk it. Mom's flowers were dead, the paint was peeling. I wondered if it was guilt, or if she stopped caring the day I left without saying goodbye. The door opened before I could knock. Mom stared at me like she wasn't sure if I was real. Claire, her voice cracked, you came. The truth was, I didn't come back for her. I came because something inside me whispered, it's happening again. The police station, the station smelled like old coffee and damp jackets. Sheriff Ellis, older now, gray hair replacing brown, sat across from me with a file so thick it looked like a Bible. We found remains in the North Woods, a teenage girl, clothes match what Emily wore that night. My throat tightened. She didn't just get lost, Claire. He said quietly, she was murdered. I knew that better than anyone. Why call me? I asked. He slid a photo across the table, a symbol carved into a tree near the remains. A spiral, exactly like the one burned behind my eyelids for 20 years. I felt my stomach twist. He watched me carefully. You've seen this before. I had, the night Emily disappeared, etched into the bark, still bleeding sap. But I lied to him then, and telling the truth now would open the door I had slammed shut. I don't remember. I whispered, another lie. Flashback, the woods we were not supposed to be out after dark. But kids never obey warnings they don't understand. The woods had a rule, don't follow the lantern. Emily dared me to go. She was fearless, or maybe just tired of Ashford swallowing people whole. We walked toward the creek, laughing, flashlights bouncing off branches until we saw it. A soft, warm glow between the trees, a lantern, swaying gently, attached to no hand. I felt Emily grab my sleeve. Do you see that? I nodded. She stepped toward it. I stepped back. The glow moved deeper. Like it was leading us. Emily, stop. I whispered, but she didn't. She went after it, and then she screamed. I ran like a coward. Branches tore my skin, rocks cut my knees, but I didn't stop. I escaped. Emily didn't. The question nobody asked. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the house felt like a fingerprint pressed against my spine. Mom kept watching me like she sensed something was wrong. Something worse than Emily. At breakfast she asked, why did you really come back? Because the spiral symbol wasn't just a clue. It was a warning, and not for Emily, for me. Before I could answer, someone knocked. I opened the door. A girl about 18 stood on the porch. A stranger, pale, trembling. You're Claire Dalton, right? She asked. The one who survived. Survived, not escaped. I need your help. She whispered, my sister is missing. My heartbeat stopped. What's her name? I asked. She swallowed hard. Emily. A new disappearance. Her name wasn't actually Emily. Not this time. It was Emma Walker, 16 years old, vanished 2 nights ago, and the police won't listen. The girl, Sophie, her older sister, said, they think she ran away, but I saw a light in the woods and a symbol, a spiral. My blood turned to ice. Where? She pointed toward the tree line behind our house, not the north woods, the south side. Closer, too close. I grabbed my jacket. Show me. The The spiral tree Sophie led me through the brush until we reached an old oak tree, and there it was, a spiral carved deep, fresh, aggressive, like someone wanted it seen. The curve of it was identical. I could have drawn it from memory. Who else knows about this? I asked. No one. I didn't want them calling me crazy. You're not crazy. A twig snapped somewhere behind us. Sophie spun around. Did you hear that? I did. Footsteps, close, stay behind me, I whispered, but whoever was there faded back into the brush, watching, listening, waiting. The man in the pharmacy. I headed to the pharmacy to clear my head, but Ashford never let you breathe easy. When I walked in, the air shifted. People stared. Whispers followed me like shadows. Then someone tapped my shoulder. I turned to see Mr. Collins, our high school science teacher. Older, but the same unsettling smile. "You're back," he said, investigating something. His eyes glittered in a way that made my skin crawl. "Just visiting family." I lied. "HM." He leaned closer. "Shame what happened to Emily Hart. And now this new girl. A pattern, wouldn't you say?" My breath caught. "How do you know about Emma?" I asked slowly. He lifted his brows. Oh, small towns talk. But small towns didn't talk that fast. I watched him walk away. He knew something. The spiral's meaning. I dug out the journal I kept as a kid, full of scribbled nightmares and drawings I used to swear weren't mine. On page 39, a spiral, and underneath, "Follow the lantern and you follow death." My handwriting. But I didn't remember writing it. A whisper of a memory slipped through. Voices in the woods. A man's laughter. Emily crying. A lantern swinging. A shadow holding her back. My chest tightened. I didn't just see something that night. I saw him, the killer, and 20 years later, he was still here, hunted at midnight. Someone knocked. Mom was asleep. I shouldn't have opened the door, but I did, and there it was, a lantern, placed carefully on the porch. Still warm, still glowing, and attached to the handle. A photograph, me at 12, running through the woods. "Sheriff Ellis, I'm telling you someone is stalking me," I said, pacing the sheriff's office. They left a lantern at my door. Ellis frowned. "We'll check the cameras." There are no cameras. I reminded him, "This is Ashford." He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Claire, grief can." I slammed my palm on his desk. "This isn't grief. This is real." He studied me, then quietly asked, "What aren't you telling me?" "Everything." But telling him the truth meant admitting I let Emily die, and that someone knew it. The woods again. I didn't want to go back into the woods. But Emma was still missing, and someone wanted me to follow, so I did, alone, at dusk, lantern in hand. The deeper I went, the more the air thickened. Silence wrapped around me like rope. Then I saw it, a different symbol carved into another tree. Not a spiral, an arrow, pointing me forward. I followed it. 3 more, 4, 5, until the trees opened into a clearing, and there, tied to a tree with torn rope, Emma, alive but barely, and standing behind her. Holding a lantern was Mr. Collins, the truth in the light. "Claire," he said calmly, as if greeting an old friend, "you found her, just like I knew you would. What are you doing?" I choked out. He smiled. "Finishing what you stopped 20 years ago." I froze. "What are you talking about?" "You were meant to follow the lantern that night, both of you, but you ran." His smile widened. Emily didn't. A wave of nausea hit me. "It was you," I whispered. "Yes," he answered simply, "and now, it's time to finish." He stepped toward me, lantern swinging, light flickering like a heartbeat, but he didn't expect Emma to wake up enough to scream. He didn't expect Sophie, who had followed me despite my orders, to rush from the bushes with a broken branch in her hands, and he didn't expect the sheriff to finally believe me, arriving with sirens cutting through the trees. Collins dropped the lantern. It shattered, and the woods lit up in blue and red. Justice Mr. Collins was arrested. He confessed to Emily, to Emma, to everything. He had been using the lantern symbol for years, a lure to draw girls deeper into the woods where no one could hear them. Emily fought back. He killed her. Emma almost suffered the same fate, but this time someone escaped and came back. The The girl who returned home standing at Emily Hart's newly discovered grave. I whispered, "I'm sorry I didn't save you." The wind brushed my cheek like a reply. "You did," the sheriff said behind me, "by coming back. Maybe he was right. I couldn't save Emily 20 years ago, but I saved Emma, and I finally brought the monster who haunted this town into the light." As I walked away from the grave, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not peace, but something close. Closure. The girl who escaped finally returned home, and this time, she wasn't running. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.